Alex Hanser here, November 21st in the year 2017. Los Angeles, California. No place on earth like it. And some of the events that we've seen in Los Angeles, as well as the arts, creativity, the movies. We talk about all different types of music that crosses the spectrum and different artists that have made their own pilgrimage throughout time to Los Angeles, California, where there'd be nothing but a backpack, literally, and a guitar, and maybe a bottle of whiskey in the other hand. You know, nowadays somebody like me might be going with a backpack and a computer, but I'm not going to meet an executive. I'm not going to be discovered. I'm literally going with a microscope in order to understand, in order to better understand this region, in particular, this city, where so many interesting ideas have been hatched. I can curse LA. We can all just curse Hollywood. I can also think about songs that I like on the radio. I can also think about movies and things of that nature, even things that are called, the grade B flicks of the 1980s. Again, where were these films made? I don't necessarily look at this place as negative entirely or positive. Again, I'm recording my thoughts before going into Los Angeles, California, Southern California. And then I'm going to be documenting my thoughts when I'm actually there. Okay, I'm giving you my perception beforehand. So I'm looking at the good and the bad on the side of the smog, on the side of, ooh, uh, there's a little bit of anxiety there because I'm a sensitive being. People that aren't even all that sensitive are people that stay out of Los Angeles, California. And I'm like super sensitive, so I don't want anything bad to happen. I certainly don't want to feel sick when I'm there. But when I think about certain realities, sure, if I was in certain realities, a place like that could chew me up and spit me out. So instead of get too entrenched with it, and perhaps then entrenched with anyone or any organization, it's better just to maybe investigate it from a safe distance. Unfortunately, when I'm at the train station, I'm not going to be able to get closer to downtown. I'm not even sure where the train station is in proximity to this picture of downtown Los Angeles. What I can tell you is I'm going to have the unique privilege of being on private property in the mountain region, at least at some point in Los Angeles or in that county, but certainly not down at this lower level, but higher, looking down, if you will, at the city. That's going to be very, very interesting. So, what is it about this place? I also think about the predictive programming, the propaganda. I'm going to do a reading of Mass Mind Control through Network TV. I wrote it in 2005. Might as well go over it shortly before I visit Los Angeles, California. Hell, I could try to infiltrate if I wanted to. Of course, they'd look me up. And you know what I mean. Hey, I'll answer this ad on Craigslist. Looking for actors to play Middle Eastern terrorists. There's a guy that went to L.A. from Portland, Oregon, that worked in valet at Ruth Chris Steakhouse while I was busing. And, he wanted to brag. He was like, don't tell nobody. But, I was gone for a few years. And he told me they had him dress up like Alibaba. And they had him up in front of a green screen. And they were literally doing like fake tear tapes in LA. Now, that's evil. That's straight up reptilian. Now, you know what else is in LA? The XXX porno industry. That's right. Los Angeles, California. Well, let's not forget San Francisco, California. So, not trying to sound like a judgmental person, but I mean, we look honestly at the society that we live in and the influence coming from Los Angeles. And the way I look at, the whole situation, I look at it this way. Here we are, possibly facing the end of our civilization, right? With a potential Los Angeles in the crosshairs of China, at the very least North Korea, at least what they'll admit right now. But we all know it goes much bigger. We all know that North Korea will have the aid and protection, not only Iran, but Russia and China. We know that LA has been in the crosshairs, as well as San Diego with the naval station, which I'll film later. We know these are military targets. Why are the people that are in Los Angeles that are involved in filmmaking doing nothing but snorting cocaine and screwing hookers? At what point is that no longer suitable for them and their lifestyle? At what point do they look around all their blow, all their dope, all their power, all this bling bling and their Rolexes, and it just makes them sick? At what point? The air is going to be different there. It's also going to be closer to the beach. It's going to be like more pollution and more unnatural magnetic field energy. But then, of course, more natural. So as and I can tell just looking at the Google Earth, I can feel the energy. I'm not saying I can read everything. I'm not saying I can read your hand. I'm just saying that when I look at Google Earth and I look at certain regions, I get a certain vibe. Like, ooh, type in right now, uh, 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 Costilla County, Colorado, Alamosa, Colorado. And then zoom around that area, and you'll see the contrast between the more natural areas, the mountain, and then like, ooh, Alamosa, Colorado. What happened here? Look at Los Angeles, California. Look at the train station at 1617 South Street. Look at what that looks like. Ooh. Look at the actual freeway layout. Looks like a demon doing a Thriller dance. I mean, straight up, who are my viewers in LA? There's got to be a walking tour. Alex Ansary in LA. I need people to show me around. That is a big. You think I'm going to walk through that whole thing? Well, I might. I've done so much traveling. I've been so disappointed by like these poor excuses for downtown, but LA's for the big fish. It's for the people that actually handle that energy and deal with that. See, I haven't like gone in. And then there's the other question of, this is where I lose some of you guys, but that's cool. This is my YouTube channel. If you already consider me like a weirdo a little bit, like might as well just go all out. You know what I mean? So I had this little, I wonder if sometimes we travel to places where we were as past souls in an ancient earth. So what was LA a long time ago? What was Dallas a long time ago? What was Portland? What was Colorado? When you think about the time when the area where I'm at now, or at least other areas in Colorado, was ocean. And the geological record shows that. So I look back at, Los Angeles, California, ask myself, what is it about this place, this power center, this artery, like other cities on the West Coast, like Mexico City, also places that are on fault lines, ironically. And then we have this rush up to Portland, Oregon, and get the magnetism, the connection with the solar flares and people having more sex and babies and beating each other up and drive-by shooting. See, now I'm losing people. But see, I haven't lost myself. The way I look at it, I'm going into LA during the solar minimum, during quieter times. This is a city that's seen its riots. This is a city that's seen its madness. It is literally a mad, but so are others. And Portland's becoming LA-like on a subtle level. Not quite there. It's still its own vibe, but it's really about the collective vibe of human consciousness. And that lower state or that higher state can be transmitted. And it can affect the viewer, the reader, the listener. So let's go back to the not judging, but looking at the diversity from the high to the low of the spectrum. Think like a rainbow of all this content coming out of LA, the good, the grade B, the music. What about Kung Fu? Did you know Bruce Lee trained in LA as well as Seattle? Why? Did he know something about these power centers? He wasn't trained in the Midwest. Well, yes, there was Chinatowns there, something about that. No, but seriously, there's even a reason why. Hell, type in like boxing gear, MMA, Colorado, and look at where most of that stuff is thrown up on Craigslist. Denver, Colorado Springs. Of course, you have a lot of military people there too, so that's a contributing factor as well. But still, I just see it as like an artery center, a lot of aggression, not even necessarily judging it, but in certain areas, you're going to have more energy. You're going to have more yang. That's the term. And so as a result, a lot of stuff can come out of that. So we look at like Los Angeles, California, a lot of sex, lots of violence, lots of movies, lots of babies, lots of gangs, lots of, now they have a hepatitis C epidemic, just lots of. I'm looking at this, I don't want to sound too new agey, but just multidimensionally from another angle. I'm looking at this as like a portal city like others with multiple dimensions. And there's a reason why you even have the Life Expo there. And there's even a reason why, sorry if I sound judgmental, I'm just being honest, why a lot of people that speak at some of those conferences are jokes. You know, fake spiritual teachers in some of these ivory tower cities where it's about the bling bling, yo. Know what I'm saying? You know exactly what I mean. It's like I look at some of these people that are involved in show business, and it is literally about materialism. It's about selling their soul. If there was one place for me to investigate with a microscope and just look at it and observe, just take it in. This is literally like a scene out of They Live. To go back to that scene where he sees that lady, he's got the glasses, and she's looking into her wristwatch and says, "I've got one that can see." See, I'm going to be careful. I'm not going to be so obvious. I'm like, oh my God. That person right there is like totally a hybrid. Like seriously, I don't know if we want to go to that level. But talk about the city of the snake, the city of the cobra, city of the dragon. It's not just city of the angels, the fallen angels. This is a city of something. Talking about Elon Musk and his underground, under what? Ancient cities. What's going on with this Los Angeles, Mexico City, San Francisco, Portland? We know they had undergrounds where they shanghaied individuals, but what about something on a deeper level with regards to these places? But going back then to more of the mystical and not negative, there's a reason why you have certain speakers that have shared their information out of Los Angeles. I'm not really a fan of what John Maxwell currently puts out. I think he's been influenced by a lot of, or he's gone along for whatever reason with certain memes and talking points. But a lot of his original stuff and older stuff, and whether or not people think he's legitimate or a con man. Well, let's talk about being a convincing con man. Los Angeles, California. Think about somebody being an actor, and projecting out what image they want to project out, and that having something to do with Los Angeles, California. And it may be unspiritual, you could even say, to engage in the law of attraction for just gaining materialism. I'm not a big fan of that, but you can do that. And there are books written about that. Law of attraction, get rich. You can do anything, just think abundance. And so when you look at some of these people in Hawaii and Los Angeles, California, and some of the people in the spiritual movements, they're in these really expensive areas. Part of their story is being wealthy and living in some of these areas. That doesn't mean that there aren't people among them that are doing good work. See, I guess that's where I come in with my hope. I'd like to know those, and I don't believe in being judgmental just because someone has wealth. I think that someone can do good with their wealth. I think that some people are probably trying to figure out, right, what would be a way to help the world make a better place. And I don't have all the answers, so I'm certainly not claiming to be the person that people go to for the answers, nor the person to save the day. I'm just speaking out loud here. I'm a philosopher. And so they talk about people like deathbed confession tapes. I think back to like the alleged JFK, Seymour Hersh, or it wasn't Seymour Hersh, it was somebody else. Deathbed confession tapes. Or the idea of people trying to right their wrongs when facing death. Well, let's take a look at civilization. What if Los Angeles was really in danger? What if people really had to wake up and snap out of their trance, right? To where that drink was no longer good enough anymore, where that prostitute was no longer good anymore, where that credit card with an unlimited credit rating was no longer good anymore, where image was no longer good anymore, where plastic surgery, right, no longer did the trick. First, there's a crisis of the soul. But we're talking about something to where it is in the news, it is happening. They are at launch mode. And if something does happen, it is being engineered to pull our country into a World War III scenario. And in the end, and I've been talking about this for 10 years, our country is not designated to win that conflict. A friend said to me in response to, my goal, if possible, to meet the right producer or filmmaker, have them see Fourth Worst Rising, have some consultants brought in, and if they have the passion also to war in this country, right, that there are internationalists from our country to China to Russia that have worked together to arm the world to the teeth in preparations for this conflict. That is a disaster scenario. That is a bad situation for the people of the earth that are being duped into these wars. Okay, a place like Los Angeles, California, from Access TV studios to micro studios at people's homes to independent studios to mainstream media studios, hell, those are tens of thousands of studios in one place. If no one in the entire area of Los Angeles is interested in promoting the real truth outside of their own little fancy conferences where they charge $500 per person or whatever, where they actually try to charge the speaker and it's all about money even to speak there. That's ridiculous. And so are some of the topics that are brought to some of these conferences. Where is the truth? Okay. Where are people waking up though to the things that they need to do to right what has been wronged? And that's the awakening that Los Angeles, California needs to have. Be mindful of what you project to the world, for the harm that you bring to the world may come back to you. Isn't it interesting to find yourself in the crosshairs when Los Angeles has done so much to propagandize? And that includes particular films, particular programming before 9/11 even happened, before 9/11 even occurred, the tragic events of September 11, 2001, featuring Islamic terrorists targeting American cities, even featuring Arnold Schwarzenegger in True Lies, who would later turn out to be the governor of California. Really, the powers that be in Hollywood and their ties to government. We look at a book named Operation Hollywood about the Pentagon's connection to Hollywood. We look at movies like Transformers. We look at G.I. Joe. Must I continue? As Hollywood is a tool of the military industrial complex, that means this city has blood on its hands. So when I look at going through the bowels of the belly of the beast, oh yes, it's chilling. Because it's like going into enemy territory. No, Texas, enemy territory. Los Angeles, California. You want to talk about a scene out of They Live. But there's something to gain from this. There's something to gain from visiting this place where there's no place on earth like it. I have known from the bottom of my soul, so to speak, or intuition, that this city terrifies some individuals in this country from never visiting it. And it's because of particular energies that are there, particular archonic energies. It's a sink or swim situation. I think about even the things that have fascinated me just looking at the skyline. Hunter, the TV show. I've never grown up wanting to be a cop, but even like that show as an adult, a cheesy 1980s show glamorizing the life of an LAPD officer, fighting crime, going after the bad guy. And who could forget the A-Team and those scenes, with the black truck in Los Angeles going from mission to mission. Dun, 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 dun. Or who could forget Rocky 3, where he goes to literally train in, some of the rough tumble boxing gyms in his preparation to take his title back from Apollo Creed. And then of course all that energy. Oh my God, look at the LA riots. This actually happened on Earth. Then we also think about the best, the martial arts actors, coming together in Los Angeles and all of the amazing things, despite the negativity and pedophilia. But on that note, how deep down does the rabbit hole go with the city? And that's where I'll end it. I'll be back with more.